We move to Florida. Haley is a swimmer, and in her latest race, she lost first place to another girl. She's very upset about it, but doesn't show her emotions, just like her father taught her. We don't show our tears, Haley. Who are you? In the locker room, she's talking to her sister on the phone. Her sister is surprised and asks why she hasn't left yet. The news reports that the hurricane, which was supposed to pass by, has come directly here, and they are in the epicenter. Her sister also says that their father isn't answering his phone. Haley agrees to check on him. On her way to his house, she leaves a voicemail telling him she's coming because her sister is worried. Their relationship with their father is obviously not great. On the road, she's stopped by the police. The policeman turns out to be her sister's ex-boyfriend, and they know each other well. He tells her to turn back, but promises to check on her father himself. Haley ignores the instruction to turn the car around and decides to drive on anyway. There's no one at home except the dog named Bulka. It turns out they have a second house that her father was supposed to sell after the divorce. She decides he must have gone there. The weather gets worse by the minute. When she gets there, she sees his car, but again the house is empty. Luckily, the Bulka she brought with her indicates they need to go to the basement. After searching it thoroughly, she finds tools and then her father. He is unconscious but alive. She sees bloody claw marks on his skin. Haley decides to get him out and take him to the hospital. She lays him on some bags to drag him more easily and almost makes it to the stairs. But out of nowhere, a huge alligator breaks through the stairs. In Florida, alligators are common, but she clearly didn't expect to find one in the basement. Haley, in a panic, drags her father back and manages to hide behind the pipes at the last moment. Meanwhile, the rain and wind only get stronger. After some time, her father comes to. He says, "Why did you come here?" Haley, hoping for gratitude instead, turns away from him. He says to leave immediately, but the daughter is not going to abandon her father. Haley sees that he has already lost the battle with the alligator, and in addition to the scratches on his shoulder, there is a bone sticking out of his leg. Haley notices her phone and decides she needs to grab it and call for help. The father tells her that it would be safer to go around. While she crawls, the father asks how her swimming is going, but she doesn't like these conversations. She is very angry at him because he and her mother separated. She finds the phone but doesn't have time to call. An alligator grabs her by the leg and drags her away. Her father cannot help her. She manages to free her leg and tries to run, but encounters a second reptile. She wounds one of the alligators with a screwdriver and escapes behind the pipes. Then bandages her leg. Water starts seeping into the basement and it's already noticeably flooding. Her father manages to reach his tools and uses them to push the protruding bone back inside. Haley notices that outside there are people across from their house and she starts calling for help. They turn out to be juvenile looters. One of them notices Haley and comes closer to confirm, but the girl in the boat is already being fed to the alligator. And then this guy too. Injured, he tries to tell his brother in the store to escape, but he doesn't make it, and the boy gets eaten too. Haley is in shock from what she saw. Her father tells her that there is another way out, a hatch leading to the room. He tells her where to go and she sets out. Upon reaching the hatch, she can't open it. However, they notice the police on a boat and start calling for help. It turns out to be the acquaintance who promised to check on her father. He enters the house and hears that they are in the basement. Her father tells him that they have 2 alligators. The guy calls his partner on the radio, but he has already met an entire family of green monsters. Distracted, he also gets grabbed by the alligator, which begins to slowly and painfully kill him. Haley tries to help the guy but doesn't make it. She manages to get to her father and starts crying. Her father calms her down and tells her everything will be okay. They also address their relationship issues and realize that neither of them is to blame. Forgiving each other, Haley decides to try to reach the stairs. Meanwhile, her father distracts the toothy creatures. He even manages to kill one of them with a shovel. She, seeing that she can't reach the ladder, decides to escape through the pipe from which the uninvited guests likely came. Her father shouts at her not to do it, but she doesn't listen. When she gets there, she finds the body of a police officer and a clutch of crocodile eggs. Realizing that they had settled here long ago, she notices that the green one is swimming nearby, grabs the gun from the corpse, and with the same hand shoots into the mouth. Haley empties the whole magazine, piercing through the crocodile meat, and then decides to swim out through the pipe. She holds her breath, and her swimming skills come in handy. Emerging outside, she barely manages to escape another reptile. Meanwhile, the basement is already completely flooded, and her father has very little time left. The dog shows where the father is, and Haley starts breaking the floorboards, but he has already swallowed some water. Pulling him out, Haley performs CPR, and her father comes too. Stepping outside, he says they need to get out of there as soon as possible because the dam is about to break, and the boat is their only chance, but they still need to reach it, through the water filled with green monsters. They decide to move slowly, avoiding any splashes. The father picks up the dog, and they set off. But after a short distance, he realizes that they won't make it in time. Haley decides to swim, and her father says she is faster than those creatures. Go, Haley, go! Haley makes the most important swim of her life. She reaches the boat faster than the alligators. Picking up her father and the dog, they don't stay on the boat for long. The dam breaks and the water carries them back into the house. Inside there are alligators again. The father finds his stash of flares and saves the dog, but gets caught in a gator's jaws. The beast rips off his arm and goes after Haley. However, she manages to lock it in the bathroom and escape to find her father and dog. The father admires how sturdy their house is. Their house. In this house, they were a family, he says. But Haley responds that it's not about the house. They are a family anyway. Climbing onto the roof, the father is bleeding out, and she is completely exhausted. But Haley sees a helicopter and lights a rescue flare, after which the rescuers fly towards them. That's where the movie ends.